A photograph taken after 3 people were shot could become one of the most important pieces of evidence in a Queensland courtroom. It is not a photograph of the property gate where the victims were found. It does not show a weapon. It is a selfie. Several people are gathered together on an isolated cattle station. At least one person appears to give a thumbs up. Most of the group are smiling. Standing among them is Darryl Valroy Young, the farmer now accused of murdering 3 members of the same family and attempting to murder a 4th. Young has pleaded not guilty to every charge. The photograph does not establish who fired the shots, but it captures one moment from a morning in which every minute could matter. Because witnesses have now placed Young at different locations before and after the time when the prosecution says the shooting happened. There is also a missing rifle that has never been recovered. There are cartridges found at the scene. There is ammunition discovered inside buildings connected to Young. And there is one surviving witness who says he knows exactly what attacked his family. But the defense says that survivor is wrong. The case begins in Bogie, a remote farming community in North Queensland. On the morning of the 4th of August 2022, 4 members of one family travelled to the gate of Shannonvale Station. They were Mervyn Schwarz, his wife Maree Schwarz, and Maree's 2 sons, Graham and Ross Tighe. The neighbouring properties were connected by an unfenced boundary, and the court has heard about tension involving cattle. Ross Tighe told the court that Young had accused his family of stealing his calves. According to the prosecution, there had also been a tense telephone conversation before the family arrived at the gate. A witness told the court that she heard Young repeatedly demanding a meeting at the property boundary. But what happened after the family arrived is now at the center of the trial. Ross Tighe is the only member of that group who survived. He told the jury that the family traveled to the meeting in 2 pickup trucks. According to Ross, the conversation at the gate quickly became tense. He testified that Young refused to shake Mervyn's hand. Ross then claimed that Young retrieved a rifle from the back seat of his vehicle and started firing. Ross said he turned and ran between the vehicles trying to find cover. He was struck in the stomach, but he survived. Ross told the court that he saw his stepfather, his mother and his brother after they had been shot. Mervyn Schwarz, Maree Schwarz and Graham Tighe were later found dead. Ross managed to leave the area while wounded and eventually found help. That is the prosecution's central account of what happened at the station gate. But Young's defense has offered a completely different position. His lawyer told the jury that Young never encountered the family at the gate that morning. During cross-examination, the defense directly suggested to Ross that Young was not present when the shooting happened. Ross strongly rejected that suggestion. He repeatedly insisted that Young was there. The jury must now decide whether Ross's identification is reliable when it is compared with the other evidence. And that is where the wind farm workers become important. Liam Parnell and Matthew Garbutt were working in the area on the morning of the shooting. They told the court that they arrived at Young's property at approximately 7:30 that morning. According to their testimony, they met Young close to the property gate. The workers then continued towards a homestead before separating into different vehicles to inspect possible locations for wind farm equipment. That creates the first important point in the timeline. The workers placed Young at the gate at approximately 7:30. Ross estimated that the shooting happened sometime after 8. One of the workers recorded a video at 8:11 that morning. Matthew Garbutt told the court that he saw Young again between 10 and 20 minutes after recording that video. Liam Parnell also said that he encountered Young again sometime after 8:30. Neither worker testified that he saw Young carrying a weapon. They did not say that they heard gunshots. They did not witness the confrontation described by Ross Tighe. Their evidence instead creates a narrow and highly important period between the moment they first encountered Young and the moment they saw him again. What happened inside that period is one of the questions the trial must resolve. The workers continued with their task and spent hours on a ridge with Young, members of his family, and other people nearby. They told the court that they did not learn about the shooting until sometime after 11 that morning. Police then contacted the group and instructed them to remain where they were. Officers also asked them to provide photographs confirming who was present. That request produced the selfie now being examined in court. One photograph showed the group together with at least one person giving a thumbs up. Another photograph showed everyone smiling except Young. A worker testified that Young was wearing a dark navy shirt in the photograph. That detail matters because Ross had described Young as wearing a fluorescent work shirt during the alleged shooting. But clothing can be changed, descriptions can be mistaken, and photographs only record a single moment. The selfie proves that Young was with the workers when the photograph was taken. By itself, it does not prove where he had been earlier or what had happened at the gate. The court also heard testimony that Young appeared relaxed while traveling in an all-terrain vehicle later that day. That observation came from a witness. It is not proof of guilt or innocence. Different people react to emergencies in different ways, and the jury must decide what weight, if any, should be placed on one person's description of another person's behavior. But the selfie is only one part of the evidence presented on Friday. The court also heard about a rifle that disappeared years before the shooting. A neighboring grazier named Ross Tighe testified that his house was damaged by fire in 2011. 2 firearms went missing around that time. One was later recovered. The other, described as a .30-30 rifle, was never found. Prosecutors have said that spent .30-30 cartridges were discovered at the scene of the alleged shooting. They have also said that .30-30 ammunition was found inside Young's kitchen and workshed. According to the prosecution, the markings on that ammunition matched the markings carried by the spent cartridges found at the scene. Young was licensed to possess several firearms, but prosecutors said none of his registered weapons used .30-30 ammunition. Police did not find a rifle capable of firing those cartridges when they searched Young's buildings. That leaves another major gap in the case. If a .30-30 rifle was used, where is it? Was the missing weapon from the neighbor's property connected to the shooting? Or are the missing rifle and the ammunition separate facts that do not establish who committed the crime? No answer to those questions has been established in court. The prosecution must prove its case beyond reasonable doubt. Young does not have to prove that someone else carried out the shooting. His defense can challenge the reliability of the surviving witness, question the timeline, and argue that the evidence does not establish that Young was the attacker. The court has already heard challenges to parts of Ross Tighe's account. The defense questioned the description of his wound, his clothing, and the vehicle he used while escaping. Ross was also questioned about his personal history and other matters that the defense believes could affect his credibility. Ross maintained that he saw Young at the gate. John maintains that he was never there with the family. Those two positions cannot both be correct. The worker's testimony does not completely settle the dispute. They encountered Young at the gate before the estimated time of the shooting. They then left him behind. They saw him again after 8:20 and possibly after 8:30. But they did not see what happened during the period between those encounters. The video recorded at 8:11 could help establish where one worker was at that moment, but it does not automatically establish where every other person was. The later selfie shows Young with the group, but it was taken hours after the shooting was reported. The navy shirt in the photograph differs from the fluorescent shirt described by Ross, but the court has not established that Young wore the same clothing throughout the morning. Then there is the missing weapon. Prosecutors have connected the type of ammunition found at the scene with ammunition allegedly found in Young's buildings. But the firearm itself has not been recovered, and the neighbor's missing rifle vanished more than a decade before the deaths. This is why the case cannot be reduced to one photograph, one witness, or one missing object. The jury must examine how every part fits together. The survivor's identification, the cattle dispute, the meeting arranged at the gate, the movements described by the wind farm workers, the video recorded at 8:11, the clothing shown in the selfie, the spent cartridges, the ammunition found during the searches, and the rifle that has never been located. 3 people lost their lives at that remote property gate. Ross Tighe survived and has now faced the man he accuses from the witness box. Darryl Valroy Young has denied the charges and entered not guilty pleas. The trial is continuing and no verdict has been reached. Until the jury delivers its decision, the allegations against Young remain allegations. But after the latest testimony, one photograph has given the court a fixed moment from a morning filled with conflicting accounts. A group standing together on an isolated ridge. A photograph requested by police, and an accused man whose exact movements during a critical period are now being examined minute by minute. Which part of the evidence carries the most weight for you? The survivor's account, the worker's timeline, the ammunition, or the missing rifle?